New York City, a place where dreams are bought and sold and political power is inherited. For generations, the system has been carved in stone. Then, one year, one name, Zohran Mamdani. In October, the poll numbers were clear, less than 1%. He was an unknown democratic socialist, an immigrant, and a former rapper. He was challenging the seemingly unbreakable structure of the empire state. The media called it impossible. The titans of industry called him a communist lunatic. But what happened next was not just an upset. It was a blueprint for how belief, organization, and a relentless message can dismantle an empire built on endless money. To understand the victory, we must understand the player. Zohran Mamdani was born in Kampala, Uganda. His parents were not typical political royalty. His mother, Mira Nair, a world-renowned filmmaker, and his father, Mahmoud Mamdani, a formidable academic. They were chroniclers of global struggle. Young Zohran grew up not on the golf course, but at rallies, learning about social justice and Marxist lectures as if they were playdates. The family moved to New York when he was 7, and he became a naturalized citizen in 2018. His first public voice wasn't politics, it was hip-hop. As the rapper Young Cardamom, then Mr. Cardamom, his music wasn't frivolous. It was a complex, authentic exploration of his identity. Asian, Ugandan, American, and the class realities of the global diaspora. He was already an activist, just without the briefcase. But a politician needs a reason to fight. Zohran found his in the forgotten corners of Queens. Before he ran for office, Zohran Mamdani worked as a foreclosure prevention housing counselor. This was not an elective post. This was the front line of New York's deepest crisis. Every day, he sat across from low-income immigrant homeowners, watching the system crush them. He wasn't negotiating with people. He was negotiating with banks that valued profit over personhood. He came face to face with a terrifying truth: the housing crisis, the desperation, the evictions. It wasn't a natural disaster. It was a choice, a consequence of decades of pro-corporate policies. That's where the blueprint was forged. He realized that incremental change was a lie. The only way to stop the eviction notices was to seize the pen that wrote the policy. A year later, Mamdani, a state assemblyman from Queens, stepped into the ring for the mayoral race. He was a political novice. With no citywide recognition, he was facing down a ghost from the past, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who re-entered the race as an independent. The establishment had its champion. The struggle was framed: money versus message. Mamdani's strategy was ruthlessly focused. He knew he couldn't outspend his rivals, especially with super PACs pouring unlimited money against him. He had to out-organize them. His campaign's engine was the Democratic Socialists of America, DSA. They weren't high-paid consultants. They were an army of tireless canvassers, known to both friends and enemies as relentlessly organized. This was not a campaign built on celebrity. It was built on the assembly line of systemic organizing. And what was the message that fueled this engine? Clarity. While others debated abstract economics, Mamdani centered his platform on one phrase: make New York affordable again. His blueprint was specific, detailed, and utterly non-negotiable: a rent freeze on all stabilized apartments, raising taxes on top earners to fund new services, free public bus service, and a commitment to creating city-run grocery stores to combat soaring food prices. This was a promise of systemic change, not just symbolic relief. This radical clarity drew immediate fire. Critics questioned his experience. President of the United States, Donald Trump, entered the fray, endorsing Cuomo and calling Mamdani a communist lunatic and a disaster waiting to happen. Trump even threatened to withhold essential federal funding if Mamdani won. The tension was palpable. The message was clear. If you dare to change the system, the establishment will come for you with everything they have. November 4, 2025. The results started trickling in. The DSA's tireless ground game was working. Turnout surged past 2 million, the highest in a New York mayoral election since 1969. Mamdani wasn't just winning, he was commanding. The precinct where the median voter was 45 or younger were overwhelmingly Mamdani's. He dominated in low and middle income districts, energized by black and Hispanic voters. This was not a single demographic, it was a powerful coalition united by the crushing weight of the cost of living. The victory was decisive. Mamdani secured more than 50% of the vote, defeating the formidable Andrew Cuomo. The former rapper, the son of immigrants, the Democratic Socialist, polling at 1% just a year prior, had seized the mayoralty of the largest city in the US. The cheers that erupted across the boroughs were not just for a political win, they were a roar of hope for a project come to fruition. Zohran Mamdani, at 34, became one of the city's youngest mayors in a century. He became New York's first Muslim mayor. But the true significance lies in the lessons for anyone seeking to build something meaningful, whether a political movement or a creative enterprise. Lesson 1. The power of focus. Mamdani didn't try to be everything to everyone. He found the most painful friction point, affordability, and hammered it home with relentless, actionable solutions. Lesson 2. The engine of organization. The tireless, system-driven work of the DSA proved that disciplined grassroots structure built on shared conviction is more powerful than limitless campaign capital. Lesson 3. Authenticity is leverage. Mamdani's unconventional past, his immigrant roots, his hip-hop career, his time as a housing counselor wasn't a liability. It was the source of his credibility. It showed that he understood the struggle because he had lived through the systems he was fighting to change. His victory was a repudiation of conventional wisdom. It proved that in the arena of influence, a clearly articulated blueprint and an organized, passionate team can overcome the deepest pockets and the most entrenched power. Zohran Mamdani promised a future of relentless improvement, but the fight has only just begun. The people who fought for him at 1% expect results. The forces he defeated will not stay silent. His story forces us to look beyond quick wins and easy money. It shows us the price and the payoff of building a system so strong, so focused that it can survive the onslaught of the establishment. What do you think? Is this kind of system-driven, bottom-up progress the only way to fundamentally change the world we live in? Can authenticity and focused systems truly defeat inherited power and infinite money? Let me know your thoughts on Mamdani's blueprint in the comments below. And if you're charting your own course toward influence and change, hit that subscribe button. The rules of the game have just changed.